Hello everybody, what a strange few days it's been. First of all, we are British, although we live in Morocco, and we're very sad to hear of the death of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. And we applaud her life of service and commitment to the United Kingdom. But during this week as well, we have had issues here that I think do need addressing. 3 days ago, we admitted a mule from Marrakech with the help of 2 amazing young women who had discovered this mule, and we managed to extract it from its owner. It was in a pretty appalling state, and it is here with us now. It had been pulling a cart of cement far too heavy, and it was very distressing. She's doing well. We called her Delilah. She has a long way to go. She has a lot of weight to put on. But of course, the response I've had from the viewing public out there on Facebook is amazing. To start with, I get the immediate response from our supporters who are connected to us very easily. They're the sort of responses you would expect. The last day, we've had a lot of other responses from people who don't know us at all. And some of them think that we are somehow part of the cruelty. Some have been quite unpleasant, and I've blocked them. And an awful lot of comments about this is terrible, it is so cruel. But what are these people going to do? That's what I ask myself. If they just researched a little and found out about the culture in Morocco, perhaps there would be just a little more understanding. Because I'm not into just standing by and doing nothing. Those of you that know me know I am quite different. We will do something. And something I've learned this morning that's very important is that during the pandemic, do you remember I was complaining online about people weren't doing enough and the Kalesh horses were suffering? How right I was, because I have discovered that so many of those Kalesh horses were bought by dealers here in Marrakech for very little money, and they're now being used to pull carts around Marrakech. And the owners aren't driving them, they're employing drivers possibly on a pittance to pull them round. And this is a whole new phenomenon that's come out of the pandemic. We had an amazing meeting this morning with 2, they were tourists, but they were highly intelligent, very bright, very able. They came from the UK. One of them was Polish and the other was of Indian origin, but they cared a great deal about animals. And they had been in the Mellah, which is part of the Jewish quarter down in the Medina. And they had seen a horse that was 5 years old and looked about 30. And they had made a commitment to this horse that they would save her. And I understand that. I mean, from my point of view, I had to say that we can't, it's not possible for tourists to come in and say to the owner, I will give you pots and pots of money, give me this horse. They can't do that because tourists are here on a limited visa and they can only purchase what they can take back to the UK. And you can't take a horse back to the UK. But they were good enough. They spoke to me on the phone and I lost my rag. That's not surprising. They came up here to see me. And I was hugely impressed because what they'd been in touch with what they believed was the owner again and said that they would replace the horse with a motorized vehicle so he wouldn't have to buy another horse. Wow, I thought, that's the answer. We can work with this. And I was very committed to starting a campaign whereby we could offer that facility to people. Unfortunately, Ayub, who you know, contacted the so-called owner to find out it wasn't an owner, it was a driver, who quite frankly was lying through his teeth. He just wanted the money for a motorbike, and he didn't own the horse, so he couldn't hand it over. But that isn't the end of the story. We will get that horse because this person made a commitment to the horse. But of course, what it's triggered in our thinking, and we've spoken to our vet this morning, if we could grow and develop enough whereby we could say, we could perhaps part fund for a motorized vehicle if they would release the horses to us, because it's got to stop. It really has to stop. these ex-Kalesh horses don't have the strength of a mule, and they are being expected to pull loads around far in excess of people on a Kalesh. Human beings on a Kalesh, the Kalesh has got big wheels, it's much easier to pull. These horses are being expected to pull trucks with cement on, etc., etc. So yes, we are moving forward. So those of you that post on my last video to say this is so cruel, it shouldn't be allowed, the police should stop it, I say to you, get real, it's Morocco. The laws are very different here to Europe or to the UK, but it doesn't mean we can't make changes. As you know, we now have an arrangement with the local authority and we are determined to fight this together. But if those of you who are quick to criticise without coming up with a solution, what you can do in the short term is, if you want to make a donation to us, just mark it for motorbikes, and that will be put in a pot to be able to exchange a motorbike for a horse that's being abused. We can't find a solution overnight, but we have made huge progress and we will continue to do so. I will not give up the fight. You know I won't. I think that's about all I want to say to you today, save for we are determined that we are going to try and do a live question and answer on YouTube tomorrow at 4 p.m. Now, some of you may say, well, I don't have YouTube. But if you click onto the link, which I will put out tonight, you can watch it, even if you don't contribute to the debate. And I have some questions already that we will try to answer. Hey, it's a bit of an experiment and it might not go very well, but we'll get better. We now have 1,000 subscribers, so we can do that. If we can keep a debate going for long enough, as soon as we get 4,000 hours of watching us, we can start monetizing our channel. And while that doesn't seem attractive to everyone, it does help, because every little helps in terms of keeping this refuge going. This refuge is growing hugely. It's quite scary. Oh, and finally, yes, I must say this. I'm sorry. I have discovered the benefits of gift aid, and over the years so many of you have said yes to gift aid. It costs you nothing. If you're a British taxpayer, you can tick the gift aid box on our donor box donations, but you have to put your address in, even if it's the number of your house and your postcode. So then Her Majesty's Customs and Revenue can check you're a real person. We have now discovered this and we're beginning to reclaim our gift aid. And quite frankly, reclaiming this gift aid is paying for the extra food that we have to buy for the extra horses that are coming in. So it's a question of us all pulling together and finding better ways to run the refuge. Thank you for listening. Speak to you soon.